Okay, so before you begin your experiment with changing your eating habits, this is something that I think is really, really important to have, and it's diary. And it's a plain notebook that you can fill in things and make yourself accountable. So I'm just going to go through with you mine. This is actually, I'm making this on day 3, so I've actually started to fill it in, so this should be quite useful for you. Okay, so the first page, I've given it a big title here, Stop Compulsive Eating Experiment, and my start date. And then I've got a couple of quotes there that are particularly important to me. I've got here, great deeds are made up of small, steady actions, and it is these that you must learn to value and sustain. And that's Barbara Sher, for example. That's quite nice. You could have a few pages for that if you wanted. Then on the second page, I've got the eating guidelines, which I went through in the last video. And I put some notes next to them because I don't totally agree with them. So there you go. That was just me starting my first diary before I bought the notebook. So yeah, on you can start to fill in. You can write down your thoughts, and that can be very helpful. You can really process difficult ideas when you're journaling. And also, I heard somewhere that if you write down your thoughts by hand, it's different from doing them on the computer. Also, you can take the book anywhere, can't you? Which you can't with a computer all the time. Okay, next page, I've got daily practice. Now, this comes from the idea that I really need to have some daily routines to support what I'm doing. So this is what I've got down here that I've got to do every day. The first is grounding myself, and I'll talk about that in a different video because it deserves its own video. The second is abs exercises, and the third is Barbara Sher's action record. So I'll talk about those in a minute because they're at the back. And then at the moment, I'm starting off with my eating rules. And what I'm doing here, I'm doing a carrot and stick approach. So I've got things that I have to do, and I've got an optional kind of carrot. So this is what I'm doing at the moment, and I've put here, every time I eat, I will eat sitting down in a calm environment, so far as I can control that, and eat with no distractions. Light conversation is for now allowed, but this will be reassessed. I don't even know if I'm at the moment too distracted by even light conversation, so I have to, look at that. That's what I absolutely have to do as a baseline. And then optional, I've got here to ground myself before eating and to put the spoon or the knife and fork down between mouthfuls. Now, if I can do both of these, I get a 25p Audible token to put towards an audiobook. So what that means is that basically I really love audiobooks, and that's a kind of a treat for myself. So what I'm saying is that if I do this, so I do this grounding exercise and I put whatever I'm eating with down between mouthfuls, then I give myself a little reward. So 25p will add up. So when I've got enough for an audiobook, I can have an audiobook. And I have to say, on day 3, I found that this combination of you must do this, but hey, if you do this, you can have this, really works for me. Because when I sit down to eat, what's at the forefront of my mind is this and getting my token. And the thing is, this is the clever bit, you can't do this unless you're doing this. So it's a good way of kind of being strict but quite supportive with myself. So I want you to think about, what you could do. And the good thing is, I suppose, that if you were having a time when you were really struggling and you really thought that you couldn't keep to this, you could say, for example, well, I'm just going to buy myself something off eBay and spend a few quid, just as that sort of an emergency measure. Okay. And then here we are. This is where I start to write my diary, and you'll see I've made videos with these. So on today, I've got here 5th of February. This was the day before, bumps in the road. So these are the things that might trip me up. And then I've got here possible solutions. Now at the back is where I make myself accountable. This is really important. So daily practice, you can see I've got here, is doing the grounding and the abs exercises. So I've got the day, the mornings I've put 7:30 a.m. grounding and the abs exercises, and those 3 days I was fantastic. And then if you look at the evening, I set myself to do the same thing in the evening, and I just haven't managed it. So true to the spirit of experimentation, I need to look at this and realise that actually evening is a terrible time for me to try and do these daily practices. So what I need to do now is rethink and maybe move this to lunchtime, because it's just crazy in the evening and half the time I'm really tired. So next page is, yes, the actions and feelings journal. Now this comes from this book, and it's called Wishcraft, How to Get What You Really Want by Barbara Sher. This is an amazing book. It really helps you make your dreams come true, but it's very down to earth and it's very realistic. Anyway, but what she says in this is that while you're trying to achieve anything, you are going to come up against negative feelings and you'll have bad days. So what she wants you to do is every day just to make a quick note how you felt and what you did. And the point is to prove to yourself that even when you're feeling awful, you can still get stuff done. So here we are, I've done this for 2 days. 6th of February, how I felt very stressed and what I did. And I've got that, I learned about my obstacles. So the fact that, you know, I need to eat a bit more regularly than I do. 7th of February, I was exhausted, I was overwhelmed because I had a big job come through. And what I did, I researched and I planned a short ebook. So even though I felt this, I did this. And she says, even if you just you lay in bed all day, or you manage to just go for a 5-minute walk, those things are in some way contributing to what you're doing. And you can't ever put nothing for this. So definitely have a look at Wishcraft if this is something interests you. So I thought this was good because my emotions are very, very up and down. Next page is physical results. So I'll tell you where I am with my measurements and my weigh-in. So I weighed myself and I am 11 stone 1, which is 155 pounds, which is 70.5 kilograms. And you've got the measurements for my waist and my hips. So one of my goals really is for my waist significantly measuring less than my hips, and I will come back and I think I'll probably do my next weigh-in on the 6th of March. As I said, I don't like weighing myself, but I'm going to do it for this. Okay, and finally I've got my Audible points. I just talked about the Audible points, so they're there, and I also put some comments here as well. So 6th of February, I got 4 Audible points, and it says, what are you proud of having done to earn your points? And I've put here, eating a small amount, and even though I was angry. And then I've got eating 1 cracker off a plate, feeling manning and hungry, but I still did it. Okay, so that is the journal, and it's really helpful because it makes you check in and it keeps you accountable, and it tells you what's the truth, which is quite often a bit different from our perceptions. So I hope this has helped you.